This is not a ride sharing video. I repeat, this is not a ride sharing video. What up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. President Trump, number 45, indicted. President Trump has been indicted. What the hell is going on? As the guy once screamed in the movie The Hangover. We're going to start right out by getting into what is next, what the hell just happened in regards to President Trump being indicted. Going to give you three scenarios, and I want to get your opinion. That's why we always are here. We come to talk to the folks. As always, this program is and always will remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome too. So, are we dealing with a witch hunt? A witch hunt meaning it is completely false, fabricated charges simply to get President Trump out of the political sphere. Are we dealing with a witch hunt? Next selection. Are we dealing with political charges? Meaning the charges are petty, politically inclined. Nevertheless, they are legitimate. But they're petty and they're just using them to get President Trump when they know damn well they would not go after another president doing the same thing. Or are we looking at valid crimes being committed and justice taking its course? Those are the three options. Is it a witch hunt? Is it petty and political? Or are they legitimate charges? That's what we're going to be talking about. Nevertheless, we'll go straight to the comments. As always, I do not block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. Appreciate you coming on. Thank you for the TikTok cap. That is very kind of you, Heather Mommy. Friend of the program always. Thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Looking in the comments. Trump is going to jail. America is finally great again. I'm going to say flat out, I don't believe that's going to happen. I could be wrong. That's what we're here for. We're here to discuss things back and forth. But flat out, I do not see the former president being placed in a cell or incarcerated at all. That's not to say he won't be convicted. That's not to say he will not face future indictments, which I strongly believe he will. But at the end of the day, President Trump being held in some sort of a cell or incarcerated, I personally do not believe you will ever see that day. All right, continuing on. I think they found the witch, says Kill the Warrior. And that's what we're asking, folks, in the comments. Is it a witch hunt? Meaning the charges are completely fake, false, made up. Is it political? Meaning the charges are legitimate, but they're only going after the former president because they don't like him. And if it was anyone else doing the exact same thing, which might be a valid charge, they'd let him go. Or at the very least, do you think this is 100% valid and simply justice following its course? Going straight to the box, we'll start it out with the one and only Army vet. Welcome back to the program. I ask you guys to do that always. Help out the algorithms. Get your boy up to 5,000 likes. Let's get it started. Good afternoon, Army vet. What are we dealing with here?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
It's going quite interesting considering what just took place yesterday.
Okay, so here's the thing, man, because I've been making my rounds on lives, man, and I right now my cup is running over with conservative tears, right? And so,
Oh no! Oh
listen,
no!
man, what they have, listen, all I hear are whataboutisms. What about Biden? What about Hunter? What about Bill Clinton? I mean, somebody even brought up, what about JFK doing the same thing? What are we going to do? Dig up JFK and indict his bones? I mean, come on, man. It's ridiculous. On the left, we do not care.
So let me ask you this, though. Do you believe what they charging him with, he legitimately did?
Well, first of all, we don't know what they're charging him with, right?
True.
They
That
haven't
is
said
true.
it yet. All they said was that the grand jury felt there was enough evidence that he possibly committed a crime. Therefore, he will now be arrested. He will be fingerprinted. He'll get to take a beautiful picture, and then he'll have his day in court. He may or may not get convicted. But he has the presumption of innocence, just like anyone else, but he has to go through the process. And they're pissing in their pants because he has to go through the process that every other American citizen goes through. And they can't help but piss on themselves about it.
What about the possibility? Now, I mentioned out of my three choices, political being one. What about the possibility that, yes, he may have done something wrong, but they're only doing it to go after him on a political sphere that they would have left every other former president alone about, but they're going after him because they don't like him? Is that possible?
That's excuse my language, but that's bullshit. Because they didn't say that about the attorney general when he first came into office and decided that he wouldn't pursue charges on Trump. And two of his own people quit because he wouldn't move forward with it. And it wasn't until he obtained additional information that he did move forward. So now they're saying
Well,
it's political,
me
but
push back.
prior
Let
they
me
did
push
not say
back
it was
on that.
political.
Let me push back on that. You're right. They did not say that when they decided not to charge Trump on the first time. We said that. Many folks on the left, when they decided not to charge President Trump, suggested that this person was in the camp or actually in favor of President Trump. So it was said when they originally decided not to charge him, us liberals was saying at that time was politically motivated as well.
Well, that's the left, right? I'm saying the right didn't have a problem with Bragg when he didn't move forward, but now all of a sudden he's
Yeah.
political and he's in George Soros' pocket. No, you didn't say that back then. Why are you saying it now? You're
Yeah.
saying it now because your cult leader has been indicted and you don't know what to do with yourselves if he actually gets convicted. Let him go through the
At the end of
process.
the day, though,
He's innocent until proven guilty.
if he is convicted, do you think the former president would do any time?
I think so. And I'm going to tell you why I think he would. Is because even the right don't like Trump. They like power. They don't like Trump. And I think secretly, a lot of politicians on the right are hoping that he does get indicted so he can't continue running for president so that they can take their little measly party back. But I think there is enough, maybe not on this particular indictment will they put him in jail, but I think the other indictments will be following and one of those will put him in jail. But this one, I think this one is kind of light. And so
why do you believe the right does not like him? You said even folks on the right. Why do you believe his own party don't like him?
Because he has hijacked their party. I mean, think about it. Like, yes, there's 70 million people that voted for Trump, right? But that's 70 million people that will vote for Republican no matter what. But the establishment Republicans don't like Trump. They said it when he first ran for president back in 2015. They didn't like him. They knew he was a disaster, but they all fell in line once he took over the base of the party. They fear the base, not Trump. They need those votes from the base. So they indulge Trump.
All right.
And they follow him
to
keep that base. That's all there is to it.
Okay, I got to move it on, but one last question. If the Republican elite, in regards to the Republican elite, if they don't like President Trump, why do you think the voters are highly likely to put him back in the top again?
Because that's what I'm saying. The base don't like the establishment. If you look how Republicans, even Democrats, right? If you look how they vote, they always want an outsider. They want somebody new that hasn't been in there, that's caught up in the Washington game. That's what Trump represented for them. And so therefore, they will turn on the base. I mean, they will turn on the establishment before they turn on Trump. So Trump's got the base and they need the base. So they're going to kiss Trump's butt, period. But I know it's time to move on. Thank you for letting me up.
All right, Harvey, come on back to it. All right, looking in the box, or better yet, the comments. Trump, you appreciate you guys' participation. The comments are scrolling so damn fast I cannot read them all. Kamala Harris is doing an excellent job. No, she's not. Might as well sue Trump for the War of 1812. Wow, you guys are hot. I can't even read all these damn comments they're going by. This is all a bunch of BS. They just trying to steal the election again. And by the way, I appreciate you folks tapping the screen. 15,000 likes. I'm going to keep asking for that. I appreciate it. Helps out the algorithms. As I say all the time, the program is and always will remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests, but liberals are welcome as well. It's not a good day if you lean right, particularly if you support Trump. Now, my last caller suggested that for folks who are on the right, that do not like Trump, it might be a good day. What do you think Ron DeSantis is truly feeling today? Now, I understand Ron DeSantis has spoke negatively of what Bragg is doing in New York. He's also suggested he would not cooperate if there is an extradition order for President Trump. But that could be giving things lip service. In your opinion, what do you think Ron DeSantis is actually feeling in his heart? Let's go back to the box. By the way, tap the screen, keep it moving. We'll make it happen with Mookie Stevens. A new caller. Trump will win in 2024. We'll see about that. I've seen the comments. Takeover in progress. Damn. Mookie, good afternoon.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. What has just happened in this country? A former president being indicted. What the hell
Well,
just happened?
yeah, you and me both. I'm confused. It just to start off with, it's this my opinions and comments right now. It's not a left wing, right wing, Democratic, Republic thing. It's just as an American citizen, I am kind of appalled, but confused as far as my understanding. Okay, it's not just an opinion. As far as my understanding is, number one, statute of limitations ran out. So with that being said, yeah, I think it's political. Number two is, well, if we add a felony to it, statute of limitations doesn't come into play. Okay, I get it. I understand. But again, with that being said, if that's what they're going to do, yes, I would think it's politically motivated. I think it's kind of
So, when you say it's politically motivated, you believe they're going after him, because they don't like him. So, do you believe he actually did it, though? Campaign contributions used him to pay off a porn star. Do you believe he actually did that?
you know what? I can't honestly and in good faith say that because I don't know. I wasn't there. Again, from what I've seen, it looks that way. Yes. And if that's what he
Yeah,
did, then yes, he should be held accountable. And then
yeah,
again, flip the script over here, handsome, and say, well, like everyone else has been saying, or a lot of people have, well, what about Biden? What about Clinton? I agree with that question. I do,
yeah.
because if they didn't do it to them, why are they doing it now? My only observation and answer would be it's politically motivated.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
I'm
what
with you.
raises
I'm with
concern.
you on that. Yeah, I'm with you on, and that's why I threw that option in there from witch hunt, legitimate to politically motivated, because
Sure.
I do believe that Trump has created so many enemies that they're going to go after him for stuff they would not go after another former politician for.
Agreed.
Now, he has stated several times he never even had an affair with Stormy Daniels. I'm assuming you don't believe that?
Oh, okay. On the personal side, it was Trump back in the day when he was grabbing pussies. Yeah, he's full of shit. Again, if you wrote a check to make it go away, so did Charlie Sheen. Go arrest him. We all do. I mean,
Yeah,
I quit school
yeah,
because of recess. I don't play either. If I'm going to make a broad go away, I'm going to write her a check. Do I believe or think that it came out
yeah.
of campaign funds? I don't know. Not really. I think he's actually
Well,
smart enough. Go ahead.
Well, you got his former lawyer, you got his former attorney saying, and by the way, Team Cawthorn, appreciate the hat mustache. Thank you for the generosity. In regards to Michael Cohen is
Yep.
suggesting that he was the one that made the payment and recorded them
To arrest him.
discussing how the payment was made. But at the same time, Michael Cohen has already done time for being a liar. Do
Yeah,
you trust the words of Michael Cohen?
absolutely not. The guy's about as sharp as the accent of a robo. If that's what he's literally on record saying, and let's be technical about it. Why is he not getting arrested? He's the dumbass that actually paid for the pussy. If that's
I
what they're
believe,
going to
I
do.
believe that's why I believe that's part of why he did time, is he lied about
Yeah.
it.
Yes, and that's why again, okay, let's peel the onion a little politically motivated. Let's say he did it on behalf of Donald Trump. That's again where I'm saying, did he? Because you're kind of you're unpacking a box of guilty by association,
Yeah.
which again, I believe in that too, but on paper, in concrete, black and white, Cohen did. He's a convicted felon. He was literally on camera saying, I will not spend a day in jail. I'll lie, steal, cheat, stab, whatever I have to do. Because, I will think. So you can trust him, in my opinion. Again, it's not, I'm not pointing going, I'm a Trump fan. You can't
Right.
trust anybody that says anything bad about Trump. That's not what it is. It's just how many, since the beginning of time, people have perjured themselves or come and saying, this witness is a pile of shit. He's got more records than Michael Jackson. How are we going to believe him? You know? So again, with
All
all of
right.
that
So
being said,
at the end of the day, do you think Trump is the best commander in chief going forward? Do you support him for 2024?
I, I always say about I don't believe in child support, but let me explain before you judge me. you know, um, I believe so, yes, and let me explain before you judge me. I was never a Trump fan when he was The Apprentice, when he was Donald Trump. I just kind of thought the guy was a knucklehead. But I was better off personally for Mookie Stevens. I was better off personally when he was in office, business wise, money wise, financially. The way I see the United States and America and us as people together, I think we were more in unity together. Growing up, I didn't see
Yeah,
black and
but
white.
wait a minute. So, but if the guy is committing crimes while in office, do we ignore that because we're doing better financially?
Um, Everybody else does. To answer your question, no, absolutely not. But my point is because it's a good question. Absolutely not. No, we don't. But the part of me saying, let me explain before you judge me. Right now, he's the lesser of two evils, in my opinion, and that sucks. It's
Would you
horrible. That
choose Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley? Would you choose Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley over Trump?
I honestly, to be transparent, I don't know enough about them to form that opinion. I really don't know, and that's how
Okay.
skittish I am with this entire process, which is a shame because I
All
am
right.
an educated man. I don't know handsome,
Fair
and that's
enough.
what
All
scares me.
right. Have we talked before? Did you use it? Have we ever talked before on here?
No, sir.
Okay. I thought the name was new, but definitely a good conversation. You're welcome back anytime,
I
man.
appreciate you
Appreciate you
having me.
coming in
Thank
here.
you very much.
Absolutely a pleasure. All right, looking in the learn Mandarin. The petrodollar is the bigger story. Well, I don't disagree that the issues facing the U.S. dollar are serious, but that doesn't mean you cannot walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. There are folks who are genuinely afraid of what would happen if Trump gets reelected. I don't know what America would be like if Trump is reelected. Listen, I'm a 50-year-old guy. I pay my taxes. I work a regular job. Will a reelection of Trump really have a significant effect on my life? Probably not. But I'm not transgender. I'm not a young woman trying to have an abortion or something like that. There are people that will be greatly affected. I had a debate with one of my followers in the instant messenger, whatever hell ever. But I strongly believe the Trump administration is trying to eradicate transgender people. So if you're transgender, yeah, you probably don't want to see Trump in office again, even with a better economy. But maybe I'm wrong. Let me go back to the comments and then the box. Down with the Trump cult. God bless America. Wow, you think the entire party is cult members? Toast West Coast. Trump is the best the USA has ever had. He would never put America last. User 223. I have to question where are you getting that from? If you favor the Trump economy, you favor what President Trump did for America, that is 100% understandable. Best president we ever had? You're talking defeating Nazis, fucking moon landing, breaking up the Soviet Union with Gorbachev, tearing down these walls. What has Trump did to elevate him to the highest of all presidents? 50 years from now, 5-0, what accolades from President Trump positively, not the negative ones like the impeachments and indictments and having his house fucking raided, but positively, what will you be talking about that President Trump accomplished 50 years from now? Such as the moon landing under Kennedy or freeing the slaves under Abraham Lincoln. What will you still be talking about 50 years from now to suggest that President Trump is the best president we've ever had? Where is that coming from? Let me go back to I see your comment in there. It's me, Colleen says, Trump didn't do shit with a bunch of exclamation points. Trump doesn't have to be the president. He chooses to be. He cares about our country. Shane, what president other than Abraham Lincoln, quote unquote, had to be the president? None of them had to be. We got to assume they all cared about something. A jury of his peers indicted him, not the Democratic Party. That's true. But anytime you speak negatively of President Trump, you instantly become a Democrat or a rhino. So you would never have someone on that jury that would do a news interview and suggest, I'm a Trump supporter. I voted for him twice, but after hearing the evidence, I deemed that he was guilty. You can't be MAGA and have that opinion. The minute you say that you found him guilty, you're either a rhino or you're a liberal. That's just the way it's going to go. All right, going back to the box. We'll keep it moving with Dads Matter 2. I love that name. I fucking love that name because I've said it before. Matter 2. Good afternoon. Love the name.
Thank you, sir. What's going on, my man?
I don't know, man. They have indicted a former president after going in his house, after impeaching him twice. What the hell is this country coming to?
You know what I think, man? I think it's a bunch of bullshit. You got these judges sitting in these small towns, destroying our country one family at a time, getting away with it. But a man who did, honestly, more for our country, and I agree with the guy that said he's the best president we've ever had, and I'll tell you why. Because he woke us up.
Let me hear that.
He woke us up to the hijacking of our country by communists. He woke us up, man. He woke up the silent majority that's been sleeping for how many years? He woke us up. He woke up all these people who hadn't been voting.
But you gotta give me some legislation. You gotta give me more than woke us up. 50 years from now, just simply saying he woke us up, if nothing came out of it, it's not going to be much value.
But something has come out of it. Where how many
What's
people?
Come out of it?
I'll give you an example. My whole life, the older people in my family have watched the news, and they've took the news as the truth. They swore by the news. Every night we were sitting in front of the TV watching the news. Now my whole family knows the news ain't nothing but a bunch of bullshit paid for by the Democrats. All right.
Based on your statement, is it safe to say the Republican Party is woke?
Not in that sense, but yeah. Not in the Democratic woke sense. We're sober. We're sober where we were once drunk.
Okay. Oh,
he sobered us up.
That's a different term.
He sobered us up.
So let me ask you what I asked the previous caller. Do you think Trump actually did what they're accusing him of?
I don't care, because here's what I say. That was done in his personal time, in his personal life. We make campaign contributions so that our candidate gets in, to ensure that our candidate gets in. Whatever his campaign team has to do to get his ass in, if it's pay off a prostitute, who gives a damn? That has nothing to do with me. I made my contribution to make sure that man got into the office.
And I truly believe that's how most folks who gave the money feel. But at the end of the day, even though you do not care, I totally understand that. Do you
I'll give you
think
an
that he's
example.
actually guilty of it?
I'll give you an example. I couldn't stand Bill Clinton. I couldn't stand Obama. I couldn't stand half of the politicians. I'm 43 years old. The first time I ever voted was when Trump became the year after Trump became president. That I meant the next election, this election that just passed. That's the first time I ever voted, because I made a vow when I turned 18 years old that I was not going to vote until I saw a president make a difference in my personal life. No presidency before Trump's made a difference in my personal life. But my life became drastically better when Trump was in office. So I voted. No president before him.
I still want to get the answer. I understand you don't care. Most folks who donated money to Trump's campaign feel just like you. They wanted that money to get him in office. Nevertheless, even though you don't care, do you think he actually did what they're suggesting he did?
I don't think he did, and I don't even think he knew it was done. I think somebody that loved him did it for him, because they just didn't want him to have to deal with it. I believe that one of his loyal constituents said, hey, look, stop saying that shit. We'll give you this amount of money. Just leave it alone. Let it go. You know, we don't care if it really happened or not. We're going to pay you anyway, because we just don't want this on Trump. He's got enough on him. They're already saying enough about him. But let me ask you this. Do you really think
here's another one here's another one. I'll let you continue, but here's another one you probably don't care about. Trump claims he never had an affair with Stormy Daniels. Do you believe that?
I don't think he did. Look at her and look at Melania. Would you? I mean, come on, man. Look at her and look at Melania. Melania is the baddest bitch on earth. I'm sorry.
Let me respond to that. And I get your point. I can see where you're going with that. And I'm not disagreeing, but let me say this. I say this all the time. I don't like Domino's pizza. But if you show up to my house and offer me a free one, I might just take a slice. Point is, even though Melania may look significantly better than Stormy Daniels, if she is presenting an easy hit, like a free slice of pizza, she can be ugly and still get tagged. You don't see that?
But it wasn't a free slice of pizza. She's claiming that he paid her for it. She's claiming that he paid her to be there. That he paid her. That was why she lost. That's why she lost, because she claimed he paid her. He supposedly paid her.
She claims he offered her a chance to be on The Apprentice, but I haven't heard of any financial exchange.
During that trial, she said that he paid her $20-something thousand to have sex with him.
You think she's lying?
I know she's lying.
Okay.
Because here's the thing.
Okay. You don't think he ever hit that?
Trump. Here's one thing about Trump. Trump is too damn asinine to lie. He says whatever comes out of his heart. He just speaks it. That's why nobody liked him, because the man can't stop. He just says what he thinks immediately without thinking, like what he feels without thinking. If that man says he didn't do it, that man did not do it. If they come up with a video,
you believe Trump is the kind of person that shoots from the hip, and he, for the most part, is brutally honest. He doesn't tell lies at all.
I think that man is too. Honestly, I think he's too. I'm not going to say stupid, because he's got a high IQ and he's got a very good education. But I don't think the man's got enough common sense to lie.
All right, fair enough. So when you say that someone gave Stormy Daniels money to shut her up that probably cared about Trump, Michael Cohen has testified that he gave her the money. Do you believe Michael Cohen is the one that actually gave her the money?
100%. And I don't believe Trump said anything. Here's what I honestly believe, if you want my honest opinion. I believe Kamala or one of her cronies approached Michael Cohen and said, hey, Trump's destroying our country. He's a racist piece of shit. We like you. We want you to come over to our party. So Cohen says, okay, I'll tell you what, give me this much money. They say, okay, we're going to give you this much money. Cohen comes up with the plan. Let's hire Stormy. Let's hire this other chick. Let's pay them off. Let's make it reflect back to the campaign. Because Why would Trump need to pay $20,000 out of campaign contributions when he spent 10 times what the campaign contributions that came in out of his own money? So why would he use the
Okay,
campaign contributions?
Okay, I get the part about Trump. And by the way, folks, tap the screen. This is good shit. This is what we do here, folks. If you like dialogue from both sides of the aisle, follow the program. No one gets blocked, censored, or banned. You don't have to fucking agree with the host. But in regards to your point, why would Trump have to do that? I 100% agree. The guy's worth $1 billion. You don't have to do this. But I totally disagree with your point that the Democratic administration approached Michael Cohen. The guy spent a year in prison. If the Democratic administration got him to lie like that, why wouldn't they have just pardoned him?
There have been patsies throughout history that have gone down for money and spent more time than a year in prison. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, and it offends a lot of people when I say it. George Floyd was not murdered. I have had cops kneel on my neck the same way, and I'm a 43-year-old white man living in the South, and I've had white cops kneel on my neck.
Not you had a cop kneel on your neck for 9 minutes while you were handcuffed. What the hell you do?
I didn't do anything. I was with some people who had jumped a man in a park, and this cop didn't put his knee. He put his foot on my throat because I was wearing a red backpack. That was all I did. I had the audacity.
For 9 minutes?
15 minutes, face down on the railroad tracks in New Orleans. With a foot on my...
American history. This sounds like some out of American History X. Why would they put your face against a railroad track?
We were walking down the railroad tracks. It was me and these two guys who had jumped somebody in the park earlier. And the guy that reported it, all he could think to do was say, they're with a guy with a red backpack. So instead of putting the guys who actually did it face down on the railroad tracks, they put me face down on the railroad tracks with his foot on my throat for 15 minutes until the guy from the park got there and said, oh, no, that guy didn't do anything. It was these two guys that were standing up with smiles on their face. And I was laying face down on the railroad tracks for 15 minutes. And I tried to sue them, and I was told that was standard police procedure.
What department?
That was NOPD.
New Orleans.
Yes.
So I guess I'd have to ask the question, if the police are capable of doing some shit that's that bad, why is your party constantly talking about they back the blue and how great police are?
Well, because you've got bad cops everywhere. All police aren't bad.
Why not point that out? Why not address that?
For every one police officer that I have met that's like that guy that put his foot on my throat, I've met 20 that are not.
Well, let me just say this. I got to move it on, but if I had somebody put their feet on my neck or whatever for 15 minutes, I don't want to meet the 20 good guys. That one guy has fucked it up, but that's me. Appreciate you coming in here, dads. Always a pleasure. Come on back to any time, man.
Have a good one.
You too. All right, looking in the... because he's lying. Listen, I always let my guests speak. As always, I make it clear, me and the guest never have to agree. I will never ban a guest or block a guest just because I disagree with their opinions. I believe in protecting your First Amendment free speech rights and value them as much as I do my own. So understand that just because you disagree with the host, you don't have to fear being blocked or banned. Looking in the comments, I see a hell of a lot of people do not believe my last guest was stating the truth, but we'll keep it on. Gavin said, abolish the police. In a civilized society, you cannot abolish the police and maintain a civilized society. That sounds like you are basically calling for anarchy. You ever see the Mel Gibson series? What was it called? Mad Max? That's what happens when you abolish the police. I've gotten my ass beat by police, and I still say we need police. Loxon, I do agree with that, but that doesn't mean you don't hold them accountable or you start waving blue flags all over the damn place. All right, let me keep it moving. Tap the screen. We're gonna do really good on the likes today. I appreciate that. We got 900 plus of you in here. I'm hoping we can at least roll with 50,000 likes. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I'm gonna go back to the box. Natasha 777. the hell just happened in this country when we have officially indicted the first American president in Tashi? Good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm still trying to
I have
figure out what a former president indicted.
okay, so I want to say I am not a Democrat or Republican, so I want to make sure I get that straight. I'm an independent,
Who'd you
moderate,
vote for in the last
conservative.
election? Who'd you vote for in the last election?
Um, okay, I gotta explain. I voted for Biden.
Okay, take your time.
Okay, let me explain why though. Because
Sure.
you know, us as black folk, we were raised Democrat, right? And it's hard sometimes to
Right.
go against that, even though you know that that party is not doing what they're supposed to do for us. We know that. But because we are so trained that Republican is bad and Donald Trump was obnoxious, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I will tell you this much, and I'm gonna tell y'all straight up because it's very important. I regret the fact that I voted for Biden. Biden is 1,000 years old. He doesn't know where he is. He has been very negative on this country, very negative, and the Democratic Party has been negative. You know,
If
but
you could go back in time, if you could go back in time, would you have voted for Trump instead?
absolutely.
Okay.
1,000 on
Who'd you
twice
vote
on
for in
Sunday.
2016, Trump versus Hillary? Who'd you vote for?
I did it again. I did. I voted for Hillary because again, Trump was just too. Listen, the reason why I voted for Hillary because Trump was just too. He was just too over the top. He was just everything. But now I've grown to appreciate him a little bit more in light of what I've seen. So, no, I voted Democrat. But if Donald Trump is on the ticket this year, a lot of us are going to go in there and hold our nose and vote for Donald Trump. And let me tell you why. And I am not a Democrat, but let me tell you why that's going to happen. Because there's a lot of people that feel like I do. That, your friends, your family, you got black people actually arguing with their friends and family, falling out with people over Donald Trump. But look at what's going on in the world. Look at how these other countries are getting together and rising up against the United States of America right now. They are talking about replacing our dollar that's not backed by gold
Yeah.
because it's a fiat currency. They're talking about taking the yen and making it the trade for oil, while Joe Biden is talking about going green, something we cannot do and will not process oil, and our gas prices are going up and our food prices are going up, and people are sitting here talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not the issue, and Stormy Daniels definitely is not the issue because number one, the statutes of limitations for that is over. You cannot bring a crime once the statutes of limitation is over. I do not know why they're trying to charge Donald Trump with that. And if that's the only thing you can find on that man, then you need to leave him alone because that is a very weak, not strong case. And all the people that sitting here
Do you
clapping and
think?
cheering,
Do you believe he is 100% innocent? You think that? Okay, because he
I
said he
believe
never even slept with Stormy Daniels. Do
I don't
you do
listen.
you agree with
That ain't
that?
the point. Listen, I don't know because I wasn't there. But if Donald Trump slept with Stormy Daniels somewhere before he was president, then Bill Clinton slept with, got his what in the Oval Office, and then was impeached, but he wasn't charged. He got on national television and told us, the American people, I did not sleep with that woman. And was under oath being investigated for that. And he never went to jail. They never brought charges against him. And he was actually guilty. Not only was he guilty, but he lied to us right in front of our face while he was the president of the United States. In my view, what Trump did before he was president does not count while
But
this
wait a
man did
minute,
what he
hold
did.
on a second. Let me ask you something then. If what the president did before he was president did not count, can you explain to me why Republicans kept going to President Obama's church and actually quoting his
I didn't
minister
agree with
before
that
he
either.
became president?
I thought that was stupid too. Listen, I thought that was stupid too. I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with nothing they did to Obama. Now I voted for Obama, and I'm proud to say, you know what I'm saying. But I, I didn't disagree with that. I told you from the beginning. I am not Democrat or Republic. I speak the facts. People can get mad. Let me tell y'all something. While y'all over here talking about she this, she that. But if we allow them to start doing what they're doing to Donald Trump today, don't be surprised when they start digging in your past and say, you know what, statutes of limitations don't matter. We're gonna charge you with that. We're gonna go ahead and
How
charge you. We're
did
gonna put
you? Okay, and you make a fair point, but I have to ask you this: how did you feel when Trump was calling for the incarceration of Hillary Clinton without giving her due process?
when he got there, he didn't do it. I said if he did that, right, when he got to the presidency, he didn't mess with Hillary. Because if he would have done that, he would have been just as
So
wrong. He
you're
was calling
okay.
for it.
So so so
All is fair
wait a minute.
and love
So
and
you're
war.
okay. Wait a minute. Hang on. Let me make sure I get clarity with this. You're okay for threatening to lock somebody up without due process, but when you become president, all of that type of stuff
No,
disappears.
I just
Isn't that
told you.
unconstitutional?
No, no. That's not what happened. When she was calling for her lock her up, you're in an election, and you are saying these commercials with elections. Listen, go back and look at some of these commercials as they come up with the elections. They're going after each other. They're talking bad about each other. They're
They're not
saying
talking about
lies,
locking each other up. Wait a minute.
locking
They're
each
not
other
talking about
up.
doing
That's an
something that's
election.
unconstitutional.
But what happened
Wait,
is
but you don't. It just because you are in an election, that doesn't mean you do things that are unconstitutional. You
that's
can't
what they've
lock
been doing
somebody up
since
without
the
due
beginning of
process. That's
time.
what we are. Hang on, let me respond to you. That's the reason why we're complaining about Trump getting locked up or the January 6th folks is because we're suggesting they didn't get due process. But you're saying it's okay to threaten that against Hillary Clinton because you're not in office or you're running
Absolutely
for an
not.
election. You're either
Absolutely not.
for the Constitution or not.
Absolutely not. Threats are different than actions. I can threaten all day long. I'm gonna say I'm gonna do such a all day long, but I didn't pull the trigger on it. I didn't do it. He didn't do that. You can say anything, and they do. We playing right now. We sitting here, you and I, grown people, and you seem like an intelligent man, right? We are talking about a
Thank you.
subject matter that is very important to the American people. People are focused on Trump like he Jesus. Trump is a man. Trump is a man. But what happens to Donald Trump? I'm saying what's going on with him is wrong. I don't, and I say that if this was anybody, I would say it's wrong. You cannot go back and charge him. The statutes of limitation on this is over. Period. That's it. Nothing
Okay.
else.
Okay.
I don't hear nothing else after that. And then you're going to go back and talk about a payment that was made to this woman, not the actual fact did he do it or did he not do it. You're talking about a payment that was made out of contributions. And the woman wrote a letter
Why,
saying
if
it
he
didn't
didn't sleep
happen.
with, if he didn't sleep with her, if he never slept with
That's
her
not the
as he
issue.
claims, why would he make a payment to her? Why would he just give her free
That's
money?
because if you go into the grocery store right now and you slip and fall on a piece of lettuce and you try to sue that grocery chain for $20 million, they're gonna give you 20,000 to make you go away. It's called a nuisance. All companies have it. It's called a nuisance fund. They would rather pay you off and let you go on about your head with an NDA than to sit there and try to fight you in court. If a person goes into a grocery store, can you imagine if 20 people a day fell in a grocery store and everybody filed suit? What would be going on? Your resources would be thin. Sometimes if it has
Then
merit to
why
it or it
didn't
might,
he? If what you're saying is true, where you want nuisance to go away, why didn't he do that for the Trump University people? They actually had to sue him and win. He didn't make them go away.
that's different. Trump University, if you scam those people, you're supposed to pay them. That's just facts. If you did something wrong to the Trump University people, that's an educational setup. That's something totally different than his sexual habits with a woman. And only, let me remind you of something else. Let me tell all of that because it's 976 people in here. I want you to understand something. America and everybody else, the only thing that can bring a man down is a sexual sin. You know why? Because it's only them two people in the room, and anybody can say what they want when they come out. If I wanted to go after you and I knew you personally and I said, oh yeah, he grabbed my Lucky Charms, right? Who gonna say you didn't? You gonna have to prove you didn't. That's the
Yeah.
over
Well, but let me
time.
let me say let me respond to that. You make a good point. If you go after me and say I tried to grab you, you're right. As a man, I may be facing a deficit, but don't you think it would even be worse if I'm on video suggesting that I like to grab women's charms? Wouldn't that make the
Yeah, but
things
that
worse for me?
I like it don't mean I did. Listen, I like a sexy man, and I might look at you and say, but that don't mean I'm gonna go up to you and grab your luggage. It's a difference. It's a difference in the law. That difference is always made. I could be everything you say. I could be a bad person, but that does not make me guilty because I'm a bad person. It doesn't make me guilty because I don't like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is loud. He's obnoxious. He says what comes to his mind. It doesn't make him guilty of a crime. It makes him obnoxious, not guilty. You understand what
The
I'm saying?
same could be said. Yeah, the same could be said for Hillary Clinton when he was calling for her to be incarcerated too. She didn't get due
Yeah. I
process.
mean,
That's
I
all
didn't
I'm
agree
saying.
with that either. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you the facts, though. Democratic Party been doing this for a long time. This is their MO. This is how
The
they
party you've been
roll.
voting for? You saying
Exactly.
the party you've been
Absolutely.
voting
And
for?
yes, yeah, yeah. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat nothing. I've been doing this my whole life because I was raised to vote Democrat. It was only when I got to be an adult and I started looking at things for what they were that I said, you know, maybe I should vote the facts and not just vote for somebody just based on their party. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
You do not vote
Yeah,
for
I
somebody
understand.
because they told you to. You open your eyes and you look at how your life is, what is happening in your life. And I'm sorry, I can sit here and name things that Donald Trump did while he was in office that made a significant difference for a lot of people. And I'm sorry that doesn't fly with a lot of people. I'm sorry that a lot of people that just don't like Trump, no matter what, is always going to just not like Trump. But there was some good things that the man did. Example. HBCUs were funded for 10 years. I went to a HBCU. I used to get letters all the time. These schools were on the verge of going under. And guess what? He funded them. He created opportunity zones and those places that we all like to talk about, Chicago, Baltimore, all of that stuff. He created opportunity zones. There's a
You
lot of
talking
people
about the
on here who don't
shithole? You talking
know
about the shithole
the
cities?
shithole places. Absolutely. He decided to make opportunity zones.
I'm
So in
from
Baltimore
Chicago.
right
I'm
now,
from being candid. I'm from Chicago. That's why I mentioned that. He didn't.
right.
Regardless of what he did, I will say this: he didn't have anything good to say about my city ever. It was always negative.
Never.
I'll give
But
you
guess
the
what?
last word, though. I got to move it on. I'll give you the last word.
Okay. The bottom
Hey,
line is
it's our
people need
first
to
time
look.
talking, obviously, right? It's our first
Yes,
time
it
talking.
is. Yes, it is. It's
I
our first
want
time
you
talking. And you
definitely
cute
to come
too.
back. I definitely want you to come back, girl. You've been good conversation.
Yeah, I just want to let people know. Listen, vote. Don't vote what these people tell you. When they tell you to look right, look left first. When all of this stuff with Donald Trump is hiding bricks, these countries are getting ready to line up and hand us our whole ass while we sitting here talking about who Donald Trump slept with, past the statute of limitations. That is a whole
What
smoke
if I
screen.
am? What if I am at a Trump rally? You said, look at what he does. Look left. Don't do what they tell you to vote. What if I'm at a Trump rally and I look left and I see a sea of Confederate flags? As a black man, what am I supposed to do?
First of all, listen. If you don't know by now,
Take your time. Take your time.
everybody has a personal feeling. I'm a black woman. I'm just being honest here. I have white friends, I have Asian friends, and I have Spanish friends. But I'm also
Do
always going
you
to be
have
cautious.
Confederate friends? Do you have Confederate
No, I
friends?
don't have any Confederate friends. And if you think you know everybody, people are racist all day long. If you think you know people, you don't. People have little
Do
biases about
you
them. All
believe people flying? Do you believe people flying the Confederate flag are racist?
yes, I do.
And if you're standing in
Some
line voting
people,
for the same
some
people
people,
together,
Some people fly that Confederate flag because they believe it's their history, and it is. That is their history. Some people are of the Confederate, but what they stand for a lot of years doesn't agree with my history. So I can't really mess with their history, and I don't want them messing with mine. Just like in Florida, I think all history should be told and let people make up their own mind. That's what we are in this country. We're supposed to be free, and we're supposed to be free to think on our own, whether we like Trump or whether we don't like Trump. We're not supposed to be figuring out how we're going to sabotage people because we don't like them. That's what I'm trying to say.
all right,
Period. We can be free to
okay,
like or who we don't like, but still, you don't
all
sabotage
right.
them based
All
on that.
right, I gotta move it on, but I definitely look forward to hearing from you again, girl. Good talk.
All right. Bye bye.
Absolutely. All right, looking in the comments as always, folks. It doesn't have anything to do with agreeing or disagreeing with the host. It's about stating your opinion, exchanging ideas, like to see what the folks say. I certainly was paying attention to the rather excited comments coming in while my last guest was speaking, but at the end of the day, folks, it's never about banning free speech here. It's about exchanging ideas from both sides of the aisle, and if this is what you favor, civilized dialogue from both sides of the damn aisle, follow the program. It helps out the algorithms. As always, the program is and shall remain MAGA friendly, but liberals are welcome as well. Don't let my name steer you wrong. Tap the screen. I appreciate those who are doing it. Get those likes up around 60,000, 1,100 plus of you in here. Let's go back to the comments and then the box. How you going to be for Trump as a black man? I don't know because I lean left. I don't know the answer to that. But I will tell you this. It depends on the economy. A lot of folks, what do they say? It's the economy stupid. A lot more Americans favor the Trump economy than the Biden economy. Depends on where you lie on LGBT issues, particularly transgender. So a lot of African Americans that are not big fans of what's going on with the trans community. There's a hell of a lot of reasons why an African American might vote for or against Trump. I could name them all day long. Depends on if you're pro-life, pro-choice. I love you too. Who the hell just sent that? I have never seen that before. I wanted to shout you out. I appreciate the generosity. I don't get a lot of shit on here, so anybody send something like that, do appreciate that. All right, let me go back to the box. I don't know who sent that. The comment went by so quick. We'll make it go on. We'll keep it moving with the only Jamie Pizzini. A friend of the program. Welcome back, Jamie.
Hey, how's
What's
it going?
going on? The president's been indicted.
You know, I'm kind of surprised, actually. Me and you have talked about this before. Come on, Yogi.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm picking up a couple dogs.
You got a dog named
yeah.
Trump? You got a dog named Trump over there?
No. No. His name's Yogi.
Orange lavender.
Come on, Abby. But yeah, I'm actually I'm kind of surprised, but I don't really think like people think there's going to be some great thing come of this, and I don't really see it. I mean, it's going to be a parade, which I think is what most people are going to enjoy, right? Like it's going to create.
What do you mean by a parade? Lady Raylan, thank you for that. Lady Raylan for that heart. What do you mean by a parade? Like a spectacle?
Absolutely. I don't think that you can have anything besides that. Like you're talking about the media darling, right? First of all, like this guy absolutely has all the attention of everyone, and I think that that's mainly what you're seeing. I had to get out of the house, but that's what you're seeing happen right now. Like the wave of people talking for and against, and that's what the algorithm of a capitalism enjoys, right? Like drama. You want some drama, and we've got it,
Well,
right?
this
But
ain't just, wait a minute, hold on. This is not just drama. This is history. We have never had a president in
yeah,
American history to get impeached twice, get his house raided by the feds, and now an indictment. And we all feel fairly confident this is not going to be the only time this man gets indicted.
no, well, you know what? You're right about that. Don't get me wrong. I still believe he's a criminal on multiple levels, but it's just you got a group of people that believe that he didn't commit any crimes, right? Then you got another group of people that are saying the statute of limitations has expired, even though that's not true. And then you have a whole nother group of people that are like, well, I don't care about any of that. I just know he's a criminal, and I want to see his ass go to jail, whether he's innocent or he's guilty. Like we are very, very polarized, but not just left and right. There's an up and down to this and a sideways. And so there's so much going on that I believe that this is good business. And what's really sad to me is that it should be about holding someone accountable for committing crimes when they're doing something in the name of our country. And like what messes me up.
See, Jeremy,
Go ahead.
7 years, man. They're getting for something that seems rather mild. 7 years later, does that
Well,
not look
uh,
petty?
uh, okay. Well, it might seem mild to you or me, but the reality is we are all, most of us, maybe not you, but we are all very ignorant when it comes to things that actually are legal and not legal in politics. Not until someone told us that you can't use campaign finances to pay off some hooker you slept with that's bringing some drama your way. That now all of a sudden we know it's illegal. We didn't know that before this even happened. So
But the legal government in New York knew if it was illegal or not. Why 7 years? They waited 7 years, man.
Well,
Why?
again, but first you can't. You're not supposed to prosecute a sitting president. So there's 4 of those years right there. So if you talk about the last couple of years, there has been some drama where they were talking about he wasn't going to prosecute, and then some new evidence came to light that he was going to prosecute, and all this other kind of stuff. Like it for me, it's less about what they're doing on that side, and more about how we are going to be moving forward with it, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's say instead of his name was Donald Trump. let's say his name was Barack Obama. And now half of the people that are saying that he should be released and it doesn't matter,
It would be
it
flip
would
flop.
it,
It would be flip
it would
flop.
matter. Yes. So I
Yeah.
guess this is what I'm getting to is, as a human being and a citizen of the country, I'm going, well, finally they're going to try to hold someone accountable, right? So like that part of me feels really good. Like rich people have been banging poor people ever since before I've been alive, and I'm sure they're going to be doing it when I'm dead, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be out here committing all these crimes, and they're going to get off because they got money. How many of those people out there, billionaires just like him, have been convicted of child molestation and all these other crimes? I was going to get to this next, and they only spend 6 weeks in jail and they're out. Meanwhile, somebody over here whistled at a girl. We're going to put his ass in jail for a couple years. Like
Yeah.
the way if
Yeah,
rich people are treated.
I get your point. Yeah, I get your point. The elite always seems to get away. But at the end of the day, do you see President Trump as ever being officially incarcerated?
Okay,
Even for
yes,
a day?
that was the whole reason I tried to jump. I got sidetracked because I've been listening to you for the last 40 minutes or whatever while, but when I requested, but I'm saying here's what I believe. Now I told you in the other conversations we've had that I don't think that he's going to go to jail, and I'm holding tight to that. Even though I would love to see his ass get locked up, and I think it would be a moment in history where the wealthy and the rich finally got, and politically especially, got held accountable. The worst he's going to get is he's going to get like the anklet. I think that's the absolute worst you're going to see.
You
He's
know,
going to get.
you think they're going to put an ankle monitor on a former president of the United States?
Hey, you know what? I'm surprised that they don't already have them on all of them because the Secret Service is
Oh,
watching every ex-president, right? But I think that might. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying if convicted of even a felony, he's going to get an anklet at the worst. If he doesn't get what is that called? I mean, I'm not big enough criminal
home,
for this.
you can give President Trump home monitoring without putting an ankle monitor on them white ass ankles. You could just tell the guy, you got the Secret Service watching them anyway. You could
Right.
just have him stay at Mar-a-Lago. Do you really need
Okay.
to look at them pale ass ankles to put a machine on there?
I mean,
The
maybe.
president ain't gonna go running around.
Nah, nah, but I think that's what you're going to see. It's going to be if he gets time, it'll be home detention, and the excuse is going to be that it's for his protection, and we got to make sure the Secret Service is there, keeping track, like that kind of stuff. But I don't
Wow.
think that I don't really think that's going to happen in this case. I think you're going to get somebody that gets in there, and they're going to be MAGA. There's 10% of us, 20% of us that are MAGA. There's going to, even in New York, there's still believe me, I know a lot of people from New York being in Baltimore. There's still plenty of MAGA up there. One of those guys is going to get through on the jury, and they're going to hang the jury, and he's not going to have anything. Like, I mean, I'm just happy he got charged. Like, I don't really see him going to
You
jail or getting
you
convicted.
make an interesting point. I had one of my beloved MAGA tell me that on a live several months ago, and that was that Trump would never be convicted because every jury is going to have at least one MAGA member on it,
Yeah.
and that comment has always stuck with me. So interesting to hear you say it again. I got to move it on, but I'll give you the last word, man.
Okay. Yeah, man. It's just like one of the things that I really believe is exciting about this whole scenario is that whether you're on the left or the right, that you should be excited that we are willing to charge someone despite their position. And even if you think that it's because of his position, I mean, the damn charge is politically motivated because the charge comes from using campaign funds. It's going to be politically motivated. But if
Would you
say,
charge him if you were advised as a prosecutor, as a district attorney, or whatever the hell it may be? If you were advised that it was highly likely we were going to be dealing with civil unrest, would you still charge him with that crime? It's a very small, low level crime. Would you go after him if you thought it could lead to some serious civil unrest?
I think if you are going to make the claim that we are a nation of laws and everyone is entitled to the same protections and accountable to the same laws, you have to. And we're we don't negotiate with terrorists kind of people, right? So you
Yeah.
gotta do it even if it's ugly. And again,
Mm.
I think if it comes down to, if it were a Democrat and you're a Republican right now, or not just say Democrat and you're a Republican, but if you're MAGA
Yeah.
and you're mad because it's the president, then you got to be willing to say, okay, well, you know what? If you charged my guy this time, and let's say Biden gets out of office and he's guilty of something, do we just want to let that shit go? I think the answer is no. And I think
Yeah.
which one of them rich people is guilty, we should be locking them up. They do all that insider trading right now and all this other nonsense that we can't do as citizens. I think that's absurd. We all need to be held accountable to the same law. And until we do that, like, I'm just going to enjoy it whenever they lock one of these rich people up, man. Like, I'll be happy to get that mugshot. I might hang it on my wallpaper on my computer for the next couple of weeks.
All right, Jamie.
All
Appreciate
right,
you
take it
coming in
easy,
here,
boss.
man. All right. Thank you. Appreciate the conversation. All right.
My pleasure.
Moving on. T-Phone Home. I appreciate the hat and mustache. Thank you for your generosity, E.T. Phone Home. It is the one and only Kitten. Kitten. What the
What's
hell
going
have we
on?
got? Better yet, Kitten. Do you think MAGA's going to behave if President Trump is convicted of a crime?
I mean, no, but it doesn't really matter if they do. You know what I mean? You can't.
If people
No,
are
I mean,
getting
you
shot,
can't, you can't. You're gonna base your life around what MAGA's gonna do now? Is that what we
well,
do now? We base our lives, our everyday lives, against what a bunch of dumbasses are gonna do?
well, I don't want to sound like Hulk Hogan, but what you going to do when MAGA maniacs get their hands on you? I
No,
mean, you
no.
don't want to base your life on MAGA, but I mean,
I
if
don't,
they
man,
block
because
in
I'll
the
tell you.
street,
What'll happen if
say
they
that
act up?
again.
They'll get dealt with, man. They'll get dealt with either by law enforcement or they get dealt with by regular people. But believe me, y'all will get dealt with one way or another if y'all act up. It doesn't matter, especially in
Damn.
New York.
Okay. You hear. Speaking of getting dealt with, you hear that New York activated all of their police force, told them all to wear uniforms and should be ready. So stand back and
Yeah,
stand by
we'll deal
has
with
now
you.
been given to the police force.
I'm not worried about maggots, man. I don't worry about them at all. Not even a little bit, man. What they're gonna do doesn't matter one bit.
What if you got a bunch of red hats walking down the street with ARs on them? You just keep going where you're going?
Yeah, man. Keep on with your life. Keep going with your life. Keep yourself safe. You know,
That
safe
might
as
be
you
the
can,
last
but
five.
don't live
That
in.
might be the
Huh?
last 5 minutes of your life. Shit,
Man, if you're
okay.
gonna live
All
your life
right.
in fear, you've
Okay.
already lived the last 5 minutes of your life. If you're gonna live in fear for the rest of your life, you've already lived your life. It's over.
Yeah. All right. Strong words. So at the end of the day, do you, like I asked my last caller, do you see any real chance of this man being incarcerated? Ankle monitor?
Not for that. I mean, I wish he would be, but not for this. Maybe for the Georgia case, something might happen. Probably not for this. I honestly think he'll cop a plea deal to these charges. Trump loves deals. You know what I mean? And he's almost every single lawsuit he's ever had was a deal of some type. So depending on what the
But
punishment
you,
will.
but to cop a plea deal. By the way, Mookie Stevens, appreciate the heart. If he cops a plea deal, that means he goes down in history to being one of the first presidents. I don't even know if Nixon he didn't, but he wasn't charged with anything.
Hmm,
That would make Trump the first president in history to actually have pled guilty of committing a crime.
okay. You think he cares? I mean, you really think he cares? You think he's even thinking about that right now? He doesn't care
You don't
about
think the
that.
man cares about his? You don't think the man cares about his legacy at all?
No,
Or
man.
no? Hold
He is
on,
a
hang on.
no.
I comment in the comments. It says the art of the plea deal. Is that a new book coming out? Go ahead, kid.
So here's the thing, man. Trump is a narcissist, man, and after he's dead, people can't give him compliments anymore. He's not worried about that, dude. He is a grandioso narcissist. He lives for compliments now while he's around to hear them.
But you don't. I mean, every president cares about his legacy. I mean, you want your plaque to be on the wall with all 46 others. I mean, at this point, are they ever going to name a school or a highway or a ship after Trump? I mean, his
I
legacy is
mean,
starting to look really bad.
I mean, if the guy cares about his legacy, he wouldn't have done half the shit he's already done.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't think he ever expected to be held accountable for it.
Maybe not, you know what I mean? He never has before, but and I don't know how far the accountability is really going to go now. That's why I'm not overly excited. I handle these situations with measure and steadiness because you don't know what's going to happen. All right, just because the guy's getting
So
arrested doesn't mean that anything actually is going to happen to him.
let me ask you this: what are the chances, in your opinion, of him being the 47th president of the United States?
I don't think the black community will let him be president again. I don't think the black community will let DeSantis be president.
Shit, it's only 13% of us, though. They can do that without us. They've been
You
doing it
guys put
throughout
Biden
history
in
that way.
office, man. You guys put Biden in
Yeah.
office, my dude.
Yeah. Well,
When your community,
I just
when
had
your
a
community,
sister on a couple. I just had a sister on a few callers back, a black woman that was speaking highly favorable of President Trump.
I mean, you always have a Candace Owens here and there.
You know, I've had some folks suggest she would make a good running mate for Trump.
She would. They're both fascists. You know what I mean? She would be fantastic for Trump. I mean, the worst part is she's a fascist and she's African American. I mean, how does that work? But whatever, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm no fan. I make it clear. I think she's an intelligent woman, but I think she's a grifter. She's doing it for money. I'm no fan of Candace Owens.
Of
I
course.
think she makes her money being critical of the black community. So it is what it is. She's made a lot of money doing it. I'm just no fan of the way of what she's doing rather. But so you believe minorities would prevent Trump from ever being reelected. And you're not the only one, but it looks pretty clear that he's going to get the Republican nomination though.
Sure. And I mean, you know, say the dude does get convicted. I mean, you know, you look so bad standing behind a convicted criminal at that. Not that they care, because they already look bad, right? Not that they care. But you look so bad standing behind a convicted criminal. Sucks.
Can they on inauguration day, can they actually slide a Bible in through the cell for you to swear on?
No, man,
Is
what would be
that
funny is, you know,
possible?
if they don't, they're like, he can't go to jail with Secret Service. I'm like, dude, there's nothing preventing the Secret Service from sitting in chairs taking shifts outside of his cell. Like, that's
Yeah.
totally feasible. So I don't understand what y'all are talking about.
Yeah, man. I don't know. This shit is crazy though. But at the end of the day, let me ask you this. I asked this to most of the viewers when I started out the program. I gave them three options, and I'm gonna give them to you and the viewers who are listening as well. Witch hunt, meaning that it is totally fabricated, made out of thin air, was the first choice. Second choice was political, meaning that he probably committed the crime, but they're only going after him because they hate his ass and they would let any other president get away with it. So it's either a witch hunt political or it is a legitimate charge and justice is actually taking its course. Which one of those three you think we're looking at here?
I mean, I want to go with number three, but nobody knows what all the charges are yet. So how can I choose?
Yeah. Well, we know they're charging him with one thing, and that is using campaign funds to pay off a porn star that he slept with. They've made it clear that that is the predominant charge.
It may not be the product. We don't know what the other charges are. Okay, I can assure you that there are definitely real estate scandals in there. That's for sure, because the dude's been doing dirty real estate business in New York since the 80s. Depending on whether he paid Stormy Daniels for sex, he could get charged with solicitation of prostitution because prostitution is illegal in New York.
Yeah, but
So, you know,
you can't throw me in jail for paying off a hoe back in the early 2000s. 7 years ago, you gonna pay him? You gonna charge him for paying for sex 7 years ago? Doesn't that seem kind of petty?
I don't know what the statutes of limitations are in New York for specific crimes. What I will
I mean,
say
I
is
get your
this.
point. I listen. I get your point if the statute of limitations still exists, but to even if you still could charge the man, Stormy Daniels has made
Mhm.
it clear it was not a rape case or anything like that. She made it clear it wasn't that she didn't consent. There is really no victim because all of the campaign contributors. I had one on the program make it clear we don't care what he did with the money. Why would you go after him for something that nobody was really victimized by 7 years later?
Well, sure, his followers were victimized, whether they admit it or not. He took their money
They
and
don't
used it to
care.
pay.
But they don't
Doesn't
care. They
matter.
made it clear
The
we
law
don't care
cares.
what he
No,
did with our
no, no,
money.
no, 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 no. Hang on now. The law cares. They don't need to care. Okay. If I kick someone in the leg and they don't consider it assault and they don't care, if a police officer witnesses it, it's still assault. It doesn't matter if you care or not.
Now, let's take
That's
your
not the law.
example. Let's take your example. You kick me in the leg. The police officer realizes it. I make it clear I don't want you charged, but the police says it's still a crime. And he says in 2030, I'm going to arrest you for that. That don't seem petty to you?
You know, honestly, it's not for me to decide whether something is petty. The law is the law. If you're going to be a nation of laws, then you need to enforce the law.
All right, I don't argue with that. I don't argue with that. Okay, kitten, I gotta move it on, but Fair enough. You're right. The law is the law. If he broke the law, it is what it is. But I'm just going to say, if he broke the law, why not charge him at the time he kicked the person in the leg? Why come at him, in the late 2000s? I don't know. It just seems
Well,
weird that they
I'll
did
I'll
that.
answer. I'll answer that with this. There's a lot behind the scenes that we don't know. If I was prosecuting a former president, I would probably want to make sure my ducks are in a row before I pull the trigger. Whether that takes 5 minutes or 5 years, I need to make sure that my ducks are in a row. Otherwise, I'm going to be made to look a fool.
I can't argue with that. And at this point, I don't know how they're going to be able to charge him without looking that way. But I can't argue with you on that. All right, kitten. You know what I got to do. Appreciate you coming in
Have a
here as
good one, my
always.
friend.
You too, man. You too. All right, look, get in the. But he's weak on crime. Rich, I don't think that's going to really matter because I get it. New York has a hell of a lot of crime in that metropolitan area, and here's a guy that's being charged, and you're going to point to, well, you're letting all these criminals get away. Everybody in this country that gets charged with a crime can point to something else in that city that somebody's getting away with. If we would, based on what you're saying, no one would ever get a ticket for speeding. Because everybody that gets a ticket for speeding can point to somebody else they know that has sped and got away with it. That's really not how the system works. You can't point to people from a whataboutism standpoint. But I understand what you're saying. Felonies dropped to misdemeanor in New York. Is that news? Has that happened? I'm obviously not watching the news. They were chanting lock her up for 2 years and still would. That is true. That is 100% true. Go to New York and act a fool if you want to try. They ready. Okay? Isn't that the NFL song, We Ready? I mean, do you think that the New York police are walking around with batons or big-ass flashlights or stun guns singing that We Ready for Y'all song? I don't know. All right, let me go back to the box. I appreciate you folks tuning in. You could be anywhere on social media. The fact that you're rolling with your boy is an honor. 80,000 likes would be lovely with 800 plus of us in here. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Tap the screen. Show your boy some love. The program is and always will remain MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, it is nobody here. Welcome back, nobody. Oh, come on. I'm ready. Friendly. Never free now, girl. Go ahead. Nobody. Nobody here. Can you
What's
hear
up?
me?
What's going? Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
What's
hang on a
going
second.
on
I had a
there?
call. All right.
My screen
Go
all
ahead. Say
messed
that
up.
again.
My screen got all messed up. I don't know what
Oh,
happened.
I can hear you. Is everything okay now?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you and everything, so we're good.
Yeah, somebody was calling my device. That's what happened. But go ahead, continue.
Okay. Well, Trump getting locked up. I don't think he'll actually be locked up. No. But everybody talking about how bad Trump is. There's nobody paying attention to how bills being passed. Looking into House Bill 686.
But isn't that
That's
how things
from the
go?
president
But
now.
wait a minute, hold on. Isn't that what
Huh?
normally happens? Is Trump sucks all the oxygen out the room? Usually it's because he's trying to do it. This is the time where he doesn't have control of it, but generally something's going on and Trump will step up and do something else to make everybody focus on him. This is the only time it's happening when he didn't actually do it.
Yep. I mean, everybody's still looking that way though. Like,
Yeah.
how do we get people to, look both ways? I'm trying to pay attention to both here, and I'm just a nobody.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the pun. I like the pun. So at the end of the day, though, do you think it's a Trump does charge or witch hunt?
I think it's political. I honestly think it's political. They're trying to make him weaker so that, they can possibly stay into office.
Yeah, I agree. I do believe that. Now, in my opinion, I believe that Trump is guilty of what they are charging him with. But the 7 years makes me believe that Had he not been Trump, had he not been, such a controversial figure, they would have let him get away with that. I believe the only reason they're going after him is politics, is because he's become public enemy number one.
Yep, that is true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So
I did want to
what?
say something about Kitty.
Sure.
He was saying something about you gotta about the how crap, lost words. But anyway, you gotta tell the cops you want to press charges in order for the other person to get in trouble. Yeah, if you kick them. The cops aren't just gonna get you in trouble if the other person doesn't press charges.
That's not true. In domestic violence
Right?
cases, there are plenty of women that don't want their lovers, held accountable. The police will go around. Chris Brown and Rihanna is a perfect case where Rihanna was not cooperating with authorities, and they continue punishing Chris Brown for what he did to her for years. So they will sometimes do that.
Okay, I did not know that. Thank you for enlightening me on that.
Yeah, in fact, most states, if once the police are called to a domestic violence situation, if they can determine that some violence took place, it doesn't matter if both of you are saying you're not going to press charges. Chances are they're going to do something. That's kind of because you had a lot of women that would change their mind or get scared, or the police have to return a second time and find them really beat up or deceased. So yeah, now if they come out and something has happened, it doesn't matter if you want to press charges or not. They usually will act.
True.
Okay. All right.
And then
I gotta move it.
my service is messing up, so I wanna leave with
Go ahead, because
one
we got a
question.
really big delay, but I'll give
I
you the
want to ask
last
you
word. Go
one
ahead.
question, sir.
Sure.
Who do you think Biden is gonna pardon whenever he leaves office?
All right, I'm
With
gonna
all the
drop
stuff
you,
that
but I'm
may
gonna
or
answer
may
that
not
question.
come out against him, who is he gonna pardon?
Okay, I'm gonna drop you, but I will answer that question on the other
You're
side.
fine.
All right, because we had a big delay, so it was kind of difficult to chat with nobody. But nobody's a friend of the program. Always welcome back. Who will President Biden pardon upon leaving office? Well, it depends on what controversial characters are near him. Probably he'll leave something behind that guarantees Hunter Biden cannot be held accountable. Certainly if he gets, like, let's say, for instance, Trump wins in 2024, which means in January of 2025, Trump will be sworn in. We already know there's a huge X on the back of Hunter Biden. Period. We know that. We know that it's almost a guarantee Trump will do something to Hunter Biden. Because Trump, right now, even Chris Christie has stated, Trump is on a path of vengeance. If Trump gets reelected, anybody that's fucked with him can expect reprisal. Trump has even told the individuals working on the Ron DeSantis campaign, anybody working with the Ron DeSantis campaign will not get a job from me if I win president. He's already released that statement now. So we know Trump is on a vengeance path. So if Trump wins, yeah, Biden needs to certainly leave something behind for Hunter Biden, because he would go at them. So that's one person I feel fairly confident that Biden will leave something behind, some sort of blanket pardon, because, yeah, if Trump wins, Hunter Biden is just dangling fruit. Other than that, I don't know of any well-known liberals that are facing, a major case or something where Biden may pardon. Now, all presidents do pardon people on the way out, so Biden will be no exception to that. But it could be folks we don't even know about yet. Who knows? Folks committing all sorts of schemes and scams out there that we don't know about. Biden's been in politics for his entire adult life, so he's definitely going to hand out some favors. We won't know until that happens, though. All right, going back in the box. We'll make it happen. I've been having some issues here, so I do appreciate you guys holding on. But we'll go ahead and go back to the one and only Heather. Mommy, good after. Trump will drop the soap for fun. Trump is almost 80 years old. He can't be dealing with it from the back. Come on, be nice. Good afternoon, Heather.
What's up? Hi.
Trump dropping the soap. What the hell are we supposed to do with somebody saying that?
I have no idea. He's not going to jail. Come on, people, be for real.
Yeah.
Everybody should be kind of scared now on both sides because now that
Why?
this has happened, because it's just going to be a monkey see, monkey do. You did it to me, I'm going to do it to you. This is a very,
Well,
very
but if
dangerous
you
thing to
want
do.
to, yeah, but if you want to put it at monkey see, monkey do, you did it to me, I'm gonna do it to you. Then this would be the monkey do part, because Trump was talking about doing it to Hillary Clinton, right?
Yeah, but nobody did.
But he was
Nobody
certainly
actually
talking
went
about it.
through
Why
with
would he
it.
even do that?
Trump said a lot
Yeah,
of
I
stupid
mean, he
shit.
didn't, huh?
Trump said a
You
lot of
said what?
stupid things. He just tells
Yeah,
Trump says a lot of, you heard me. He said
yeah.
a lot of stupid things, but they never acted on it. Like they never did it. It's a very dangerous thing. Like he was a president of the United States. Just from
Hmm.
other countries looking at us, we're not in a very good spot. It's dangerous for everybody.
Yeah. Well, you got to think other countries thought crazy of us on January 6th as well. I mean, they saw that. In regards to Trump doing and saying stupid things, do you suggest he would be the right guy to put back in the White House knowing he's going to continue saying stuff like that?
I think this is going to help get him back in the White House.
Mm. Why? Why would it help him?
Because just the political pettiness of all of this is so ridiculous. They've already tried to, they've already talked about charging him on this twice, and they did not. And, they failed to do it. And then what did he say? Then the first, when somebody asked Alvin Bragg if he was going to do it, he said no, he couldn't because it was past the statute of limitations and because he was not in the state of New York. Well, now he took that law, the 175 point, what is it, oh 05, which is a misdemeanor, and he found out he could use the 175.10, which is now a felony, so it doesn't have statute of limitations. It's
Wow.
crazy.
Well, let me say this, because I too believe that they're going after Trump in New York for political reasons just because they don't like him. I'm not saying he's innocent. I don't believe he's innocent, but I do believe he's being charged with something he normally would not get charged with if he wasn't such a hated guy. However, there is two
Right.
more indictments likely to come down the pipe, and that is January 6th related and what happened in Georgia. Those two incidents, when you say that what's happened in New York is most likely to get him more support, do you see him being charged for January 6th or Georgia find me 11,000 votes? Do you think that will garner him sympathy as well?
Um, I have no idea. So many people view January 6th so differently. Some people believe what Fox says, some people believe what CNN says, and there's people that were there that seen it with their own eyes and have a whole different view of the day. So, who knows? Everything is just so divided and it's crazy, but I don't think they'll ever leave Trump alone. As long as he is running and he's throwing people under the bus, they're going to keep coming after him no matter what. They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And then
Well, but think
all it
about
does
what you
is just,
just said. Yeah, but think about what you just said. As long as he is running and constantly throwing people under the bus. Point is, people
yep,
don't like the feeling of being under the bus.
right. I don't think he
Yeah.
cares.
So he's
He's
bringing
just
it
going to
on
keep calling
himself.
people
What you're
out
saying is
because,
he's essentially bringing it on
yeah,
himself.
yeah, he is. But
Yeah.
just think of how dangerous this is, though, because if a Republican does get in office, there's going to be so many other people getting charges. Like, these are the leaders of our country. Like, I don't know. I just feel like this is a very
I don't,
dangerous
I
political
don't.
game to
Here's
play.
here's where I disagree. Here's where I disagree with you. If we get another Republican in office, are they going to play tit for tat with Trump? I don't, or better yet, tit for tat because of what happened to Trump. I don't totally agree with that because I believe there is a hell of a lot of Republicans that are likely to pursue the highest position in the nation that actually believe Trump is guilty. I don't think Ron DeSantis views Trump as innocent. I mean, because he's attacking him now. I don't believe Nikki Haley, so I do believe there's a hell of a lot of Mitch McConnells and folks like that that would never get in office. Mookie, damn, thank you. I don't ever believe that the let's just look at it this way. When you look at all of the top Republican players in Washington, whether we're talking about the Senate, Congress, or even a hell of a lot of governors, how many of them out there you feel truly has Trump's back? Republicans.
I have no idea. You can't trust any of these people. Who knows? Right now they're going to stand behind him because they still feel that he has a lot of power in the party, which he does.
You
So
think Mitch
it's hard to
McConnell was standing
tell how.
behind him? You think Mitch McConnell was standing behind Trump?
I think for this New York charge, I think that they will because it is so petty. It's such a dumb small charge. Like if you look up the actual charge, it's ridiculous. I could see if
Yeah, but
he,
that's why you and I agree on that the charge they're going for in New York is petty. That's why I brought up the charge with January 6th in Georgia, because I agree most of the Republican Party and hell, independents and even some liberals believe what happened in New York is petty. But when we roll it around to January 6th, you're going to have people that were actually in the building that day, Republican senators and Republican Congress, like, my life was in danger. I don't think they're going to feel an indictment for January 6th is petty like they do for what happened in New York.
Yeah, I have no idea I don't know how people are going to feel. I have no idea how people are going to feel about
How
J6.
do
I
you
just
think
know
Mike
that with
Pence? How
this.
do you think Mike Pence? How do you think Mike Pence took it that day? You think he thought that, it was just a witch hunt to go after him, or do you think Mike Pence really feared for his life there that day?
He probably definitely feared for his life because I heard what people
Yeah,
were saying. I was there. I was there. So, like, I,
right. You did tell me that. You did tell me that.
yes, yes.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm making, is that this is just the first indictment of President Trump. But there will be at least one or two more indictments of President Trump, and I don't believe those are going to come across as being as petty as what's happening in New York, for the simple fact they're not going to be 7 years old. They're not going to be that old like that.
Right, I know. I don't know. I just,
Yeah.
regardless, they have not stopped going for Trump since since 2016. They're just going to keep coming after him no matter what. And all it's doing is just pissing the Republicans off. Like, it's just making people very, very mad because it just seems so childish at this point. Like, when is it going to stop? Like, can we
Well,
actually do
you
something for the
already said.
people? Like,
But in regards
like,
to when it's going to stop, you just said the magic words. He keeps doing things and taunting people. That if you and I
but
ride, if you and me, go ahead.
this charge was in 2016, and you're going to do
I get it.
this. You're going to announce this the week that children just got slaughtered. Like, come on, it's just so stupid. Like,
I'll give you
it's
an
petty
example.
and it's
I'll give you
stupid.
an example. I'll give you an example. When Trump was running for office against Hillary Clinton in 2016, to shame Hillary Clinton at the Democratic National Convention, he flew out all of Bill Clinton's accusers and gave them front row seats. That was something that was 15, 20 years ago. And he had no problem doing that too. It's stuff like that that creates enemies so that you get petty charges like this.
Yeah, you're right. But
Yeah.
but it is what it is. But here's the thing, though. Because he did this, because this charge is being brought on him, now what the Republicans are going to want to do, if they take over, what's going to happen? They're going to do the same thing to the Democrats. For example, Hillary Clinton did the same exact thing in 2016 in the same district in New York. New York Penal Law 175.10 should, and it was for more than $130,000. So, like, it's just, I just feel like it's going to go
I
back and
don't
forth,
know.
and it's just
I,
never going to
yeah,
end.
I hear what you're saying about the back and forth. I don't know if I totally agree though, because I'm wondering if it's not possible that once Trump is out of the picture, the Republican members in power and the Democratic members in power, you may have a case of cooler heads prevailing and both of them coming together from a mutually assured destruction standpoint and saying, we cannot have a back and forth continue. Trump was a
You know what?
bombastic guy Trump was a bombastic guy
Yes.
doing things that we don't expect Republicans or Democrats to do in the future. So let's just let that go. I could see that happening.
Oh, I can definitely, and I think you just made that was the best thing I've ever heard you say. When the Republicans take over and get in office, we will have a more united country and we won't be pulling this political pettiness bullshit. So, yeah, I think
What
you're
if we
exactly right.
have
That's why,
But what if
that's
we
why we
have
need to get these
Republicans?
Democrats out of office.
But let me ask you this: let's say we get the Democrats out of office and we reelect Trump. Will we have that same united country you mentioned?
Probably not. It's just no, no. People are half the country's going to be pissed off. No, we're still going to be fighting with each other. It's just that's
So,
a fact.
so maybe we should just reelect it. Maybe we should elect a Republican that's not Trump then.
Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should just like elect adults and get these kids out of office because it's ridiculous. It really
Okay,
is. Like,
I don't
but
argue with
look,
that.
but I don't know. I hope that one day we can become united again. But just look at like when you're on TikTok, just look at the comments in one live and look how like mean and childish grown adults can
Yeah.
be. It's sad. It's really,
Well,
really
let me just
sad.
say this. I will say this in regards to getting unity, whether it's Republicans or Democrats. Things like fuck your feelings cannot be at rallies. You can't be calling people Pocahontas, Trump tards, libtard. The name calling has to stop, or at the very least, when you have a candidate name calling people such as Ron DeSanctimonious, you notice how when Trump calls Ron DeSantis, Ron DeSanctimonious, a lot of the Trump supporters do not cheer that because that is what is that is what continues to hurt Trump. We got to stop celebrating it. As you pointed out, we need to get adults in there. So when somebody is acting like a
Yes.
child, we got to stop cheering it on. So when you hear this guy saying Pocahontas or Ron DeSanctimonious and all that crazy shit, we need to stop giving him the belief that what he's doing is a good thing.
Okay, but it comes from both sides. It comes from
That's
both
fine.
sides. Like
But it
Trump
has to start
Trump tards
somewhere.
or
It has to
everybody
start
in.
somewhere.
Oh yeah. No, it definitely has to start somewhere, but will the left stop? They'll just go on to the next thing. It's just I don't know. I see it from
Well, look
one
what
side,
happened though.
they see it from the other side, and it's
But
horrible.
look what happened though. If it stops on the right and the left continues to do it, then maybe the left will face exactly what Trump did. Get voted out of office and now he's dealing with all these charges and shit. Maybe it starts on the right. If the liberals won't do it, then you can be the bigger person and step up on that side and do it. But the point is, it has to start somewhere. It can't be a case of, well, he started it, so I'm gonna no, that
Yeah.
has to end.
I
Yeah.
agree. It does. It's so, and that's why I think all of this, like with this stupid charge in New York, I just think all it is doing is fueling the fire. Like
Yeah.
now you have a lot of pissed off Republicans, and then you have like these Democrats that are like, yeah, put him in jail, and it's like, do you even know what the charge is? The guy's not going to jail on this
But
charge.
that's
Like,
what
come
was
on, people.
happening. That's what was happening with Hillary Clinton. You got folks yelling, lock her up all over. We got to just get past that. If Trump did not commit a crime,
Yes.
don't make him up. If he did commit a crime, don't let him go for it. That's all I say. I think you and I
Yeah,
agree
it's
what's happening
crazy.
in New York for the most part is political. But when you got the guy
Yes.
on the telephone saying, find me 11,000 votes, I think you got problems in Georgia. I got to move it on, though, Heather.
All right. See you
Appreciate you coming in
later.
here as
Have a
usual.
good day.
Absolute.
Bye.
Absolute. You too. All right. Looking in the comments if I can get this damn box on here. Okay, there we go. Heather just big mad. What does say? I don't. You guys are pretty. The participation is always awesome in the comments to the point where sometimes I have a hard time reading the comments because they scroll by. But I do appreciate the fact that you guys are here with your boy. 84,000 likes. Was I going to get 100,000 out of you folks? Is that actually possible? Because I do appreciate shit. 100,000 might be possible if you tap your screen, but I ain't gonna hate on 84,000. A stupid change. A crime was committed, period. I don't get your comment there, Seek. You said a stupid change. A crime was committed, period. Mookie got the lightning bolts there. I appreciate that. Thank you. We'll go right back to the box. Did you see what the GOP passed in Georgia? Getting rid of prosecutors just because they don't like. Yeah, Cyborg. Yeah, I'm seeing some of this shit. Yeah, I mean, I know the Democrats do things like this as well, everything from gerrymandering on down. But yeah, they are certainly stacking the deck in areas. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm definitely aware of what they're doing down there. Pre-existing conditions are no longer covered. I have not heard that. Who or what legislation removed pre-existing conditions? I have not even heard that as an argument. So the grand jury is petty. We don't know exactly what they charged President Trump with, but just the simple fact that it took him 7 years to do it, and you had previous prosecutors decide not to charge him, and you got the guy saying when he was, I guess, up for election or whatever, that he intended to go after Trump, using that as a campaign. I mean, it looks petty. I'm not saying that Trump is innocent. Do I personally believe that Trump used campaign funds to pay Stormy Daniels? Yeah. Do I personally believe he cheated on Melania with Stormy Daniels? Yeah. But 7 years, it is what it is. I do also believe that if George W. Bush, Reagan, Clinton, or some of these other presidents had did the same thing, they would not be charged. I do strongly believe Trump's mouth is where these charges are coming from. It's like if you get pulled over for speeding and you start talking shit to the police, all of a sudden you may drive off with a ticket for tints. Your license plate light was not bright enough. I mean, you might get all kinds of other shit because you're running your mouth. Trump has taken pleasure in making some of the most powerful politicians' lives miserable by giving them horrible nicknames and saying things that literally has made them feel threatened, such as Nancy Pelosi's husband. So as a result, he's not going to be treated normal. He's going. You pissed off all of Washington. You're going to think there's no consequences because of that? I'm not saying what they're doing to him may be right or wrong. I'm just simply saying you cannot do what Trump did and expect to walk around consequence free. That doesn't happen. Any politician that does what Trump did, ridicule all of Washington, is going to face trouble. It's not something unique to Trump. Nobody's going to get away with doing that shit. Looking in the comments, or better at the box. We'll keep it moving with Kitty Cat on top. That actually sounds like a pretty good tip. On top. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good. That's an interesting name you got there. But what do you think President Trump? Yeah, I'm like, damn, that sounds like a good time. But what do you think of President Trump being indicted? You think this was a witch hunt, just making it up?
No, I do not believe that. I believe Donald Trump should have been indicted years before, this year. I mean, to take 7 years, but it is common to take some time to indict people on charges. Um, I believe because it's got to be investigated. But 7 years, I believe that's a long time. But sometimes I know it
Yeah.
can take that long.
Do you believe it's political in nature at all? Where they're only going, like what I just stated, I believe they're going after him mainly because he is a controversial figure and says a lot of bad things about people. I think that has something to do with it. But what do you think?
I believe it is something that is the beginning of other charges, other indictments. I
Oh yeah,
think they brought the
oh yeah.
charges
There's
because there is future indictments in the future for him,
yeah.
especially in New York, especially with him, you know, um, lying about his real estate investments and how much money he has to invest. He definitely has been getting away with a lot of devious and manipulation in his records. And I just think it's just finally coming to light that it's time to charge him and not let him
So
continuously get away.
at the end of the day, do you think this man will ever do time? No, actually be incarcerated.
I believe if the Republican Party um, is somehow able to get control of any type of judge or manipulate the people, I don't believe he would be charged or I'm sorry, he would not go to jail. He's already, been indicted, but I think he wouldn't go to jail
Right.
if anything dealing with the Republicans had, if they could
What
stop
about
it.
Democrats though? What about the Democrats in New York? It's a Democratic state. Do you think he will do time for what they're charging him with out there?
Well, New York isn't all the way Democrat. They did flip Republicans, a couple of Republican seats in New York, so you can't just say it's Democrat. But
Yeah,
as
Santos
far
is out there. Yeah, Congressman Santos is out there. It is lying ass. But the governor, yeah, the governor
definitely,
is a Democrat though.
definitely. But I
Yeah.
believe the Democrats they just want to, stop the fraud, stop the corruption, and I believe they're using a powerful figure as an example, as a way to tell the world that we can stop, these corrupt people. And there's nothing they can really do other than challenge it. And then we can see how the Republican Party reacts. And I think really this is really like a setup of a battle between the Democrats and the Republicans, because that's all that's going to happen. They're just going to battle each other. Republicans are just going to
What
try
about
to.
speaking of battles? But speaking of battles, do you think anything violent, any civil unrest is going to take place because of this?
I definitely think so because a lot of Trump supporters have shown a history of violence when it comes to supporting Donald Trump. So I definitely believe there is a
Wow.
possibility of violence. Yes. Hmm.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I asked this to a caller several callers ago. If you were the one that was, district attorney, prosecutor, or whatever the hell Bragg is, and you had the opportunity, you felt he had committed a crime, but you were advised if you charge him with this, we could have serious civil unrest on our hands. Would you still continue with those charges?
Yeah. As I was saying, I think he's doing this because there is an idea that there are going to be more charges filed against him. I don't think he filed these charges, lightheartedly. I believe he knows there are going to be more charges like the real estate fraud and, him basically, being corrupt with the real estate. So
Right.
I think that, as I'm saying, like, I believe there's more to it than I think this is the beginning. It's going to be a
Yeah.
middle
Oh,
and
I certainly do believe there's more indictments coming down the pipe for President Trump. But at the end of the day, how do you feel about folks suggesting that this could make him a martyr, could actually gain him more support with these different entities, Georgia, Merrick Garland with January 6th, these different entities coming after him? Do you see this where it could actually make him gain support?
I believe that Trump supporters are very determined to believe anything he says, and
Damn.
it's very hard to change. I'm not sure if you ever met a Trump supporter. It's like
Yeah.
you can't really. It's like talking to a Republican, really, even though Donald Trump is a Republican. Even if you attack them with facts and
Well,
it,
wait. I
mhm.
don't agree with that. I think that Trump really has his own affiliation. I don't think Trump is a Republican. He's done everything from fighting with the NRA. Hell, he even said he identifies as a Democrat back in the 80s. I mean, he certainly ain't following what evangelicals would be in favor of with three or four divorces and burying his wife under the golf course and shit. So I don't think that he is a traditional Republican. I think that he is presenting something that a lot of Republicans agree with, and he's leading the country in a direction that they agree with, but he's not doing it the way a traditional Republican would do it.
That's true, but I'm not sure if you're familiar with the community around Mar-a-Lago. There is a lot of intimidation, and I know that people think that all Trump supporters are, are not that smart, but there is definitely a lot of manipulation from Trump supporters in Florida. And it's like if you don't support Donald Trump, they basically will ignore your existence and try to make your life, a living hell. So,
Yeah, if you go in any area that's deeply devoted to something, speaking against it I mean, it's like going into projects and saying you don't like Black Lives Matter. That ain't gonna go well. I do agree with that. If you go down to the villages somewhere and start speaking out against Trump, yeah, they're not gonna like you. I don't disagree with that.
it's not, I mean, you say anything horrible, it's like, don't ever talk to me. You don't exist.
Yeah.
You will
I've
never
had
work
that
in this
happen.
town again.
I've had that happen. Yeah. You know the way I deal with it is I often kind of do like the Matthew McConaughey in the movie A Time to Kill. Close your eyes. Now pretend it's not Trump type deal. Cause, I can understand witch hunts. I can understand when things are political. But if you're truly saying go after this man or let this man get away simply because it's Trump, then you're being biased. And that does happen. I mean, there are people
Yeah.
who have what they refer to as Trump's derangement syndrome, and there are people who are part of a cult. Them the
Yes.
folks we try to separate from.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely believe
Yeah.
there is cult like activity surrounding Trump. And as I was saying, I really, really believe it's just intimidation. There's a strong intimidation for supporters
But
for Trump.
I have to ask you this, and I would ask folks in the comments as well. Where does that come from? When you got a candidate that suggests I could murder somebody in the middle of a busy street, how do you get people to be okay with that? Where did that cult-like following come from? What did he do that is so great that folks are willing to ignore a murder? Which is what he said. I'm not saying it. He said it. So what is it so strong about his whole? Because when he said that, he hadn't even given us a good economy yet or any of that stuff. So what do you think that comes from?
I think it comes really from his TV show. A lot of people loved his character. I think it really stemmed from that. When he was hiring, firing people, everyone loved that. I know I specifically love that TV show. I mean, and I think that's what put him on the map. And people love that type of personality. They see him as someone who's going to tell the truth no matter what. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. It has nothing to do with him.
Yeah,
I
but
really
shit. I'm attracted to Halle Berry. That don't mean I'm gonna let the bride go around murdering people. I
it's
don't
the
see that.
attraction to the personality. He is attracting people who have similar personalities as he do. He's not the only person who's that
Yeah.
crazy. There's for every crazy person, there's 1 to 2,000 other people who think exactly like this person. So as I was saying, like it's the attraction to his personality, and I really believe people love money, and the idea that he is
Well, we
rich
all
or
do that.
wealthy, and
All right.
that money always
Well,
carries influence.
I have to move. I have to move it on, but I want to ask you one last question. This is in regards to a comment I see in the comments. SD Shadow Walker suggested that they are attracted to the hate. Do you see people? Do you believe there are people voting for Trump because they're attracted to hate?
Now, in the 80s, he was sued because he refused to let black people live in, I'm sorry, black people use his hotel. And he does
Right.
have a lot of hate towards, he always say Mexicans running the border. And to me, I do believe that people are attracted to the hate, which is a part of his personality. So he
Do
has this
you see
person.
Trump as a racist? Do you see Trump yourself as being intolerant or racist at all?
I I think that he's not a racist anymore. For me, I think he just has this unconscious bias about people, and he doesn't realize he's biased, and what he believes he's just trying to protect, the United States, but it's really coming off as, unconscious bias and, and racism. And I really don't believe he's racist, but the things he says is racist. But I think it's just something that he has been fed since he's been alive, that these type of people, if they don't look like me, then they're wrong. So anyone who doesn't
Mm.
look like him, they're going to be considered to be wrong. And I just think that's something that's been ingrained in him. And I can see
So
that
I
he.
have to bring
Mhm.
up, just for the other side, vote for me or you ain't black. Do you see Biden as being intolerant?
I'm sorry, repeat that for me.
I said I have to bring up for the other side phrases like vote for me or you ain't black. I don't want my children growing up in a racial jungle. Do you see President Biden as being intolerant?
I, President Biden, I think he could easily have had a personality similar to Trump. I think he has. I don't think he is what he's claiming to be. Open minded about race and religion. I think there's more to him than what's being, portrayed. But it's nothing I can really say about, bad about him. He is look like he's trying to help individuals, just like Trump did. Trump set free, a lot of black people from prison. He did help a lot of black people, and that's why I'm saying, like, I don't think he's completely racist, because a racist person wouldn't help black people at all. And what I'm thinking is like
I don't think that's true. You got slave masters that was banging the hell out of their slaves. They were helping them, the kids. That don't mean they
they
were
weren't
not
helping them
racist.
to escape slavery, though. Were they
Helping
helping them?
them to
Were they
good day.
like
So speak,
rallying
let me
to
ask
end
you to you this
slavery?
way. Let me ask you this way. If it comes down to a Trump and Biden rematch, a Trump and Biden rematch in 2024, where are your vote going?
Oh God, I'm really praying that Governor Newsom runs for Democratic Party this year. I don't.
Newsom out of California.
Yeah, he did put out a video. I'm really hoping he will run for office this year. I'm sorry, next year. I'm sorry. I'm really hoping he will overtake
Right.
Biden. I mean, I really would like someone younger with a more clear mind, a clear idea of what they want to
Well,
accomplish as a
I get
Democratic.
that. Yeah, I get that I get that you're interested in Gavin Newsom, but just for shits and giggles, if it ends up as a Trump versus Biden rematch, what are you going to do?
I mean, of course, because I'm a Democratic voter, I'm going to vote Democrat. Just like for any Republican, if you're a Republican voter, you're going to vote Republican.
All right, fair enough. All right, appreciate you coming in, Kitty. This is our first time talking, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time.
Okay, because there's no way I will forget your name. There's no way I will forget that name. So, all
Everyone loves this
right, I
name.
got to move it on, but come on back anytime. I'll always remember that name. So come on back anytime.
Sure. Have a good day.
All right, you too, absolutely. All right, nothing wrong with top. All right, looking in the comments, call is the best ever. Okay, appreciate that. You should vote for their policies only. Augie, I do believe you should vote based on policy as opposed to party. Yours truly, one thing I don't like that's really starting to come out from the right side of the aisle is what looks like an attempted eradication of the LGBT community, particularly trans. President Trump has stated if he gets reelected, he will ask Congress to officially identify gender by what's on the birth certificate. So if you identify someone by what's on their birth certificate, then you pretty much are eradicating the transgender community completely. Let's say, for instance, I decide to identify as a woman. I want to have a female on my driver's license. I want to put that on my job application. I want to file my taxes as a female. If Congress is going to identify me by what's on my birth certificate, that means I cannot be trans. That means the trans community is officially eradicated from a governmental standpoint. You will no longer be recognized. So that right there, if you are a friend or an ally to the LGBT community, that's going to cause people to not vote for Trump, even if they're not part of the LGBT community. What he is doing is making an attempted eradication of that community. There's no other way to look at that. If they go by what's on your birth certificate, you cannot be trans anymore. That community is wiped out. So it's things like that cannot be a centipede. No, you cannot identify as a centipede. Nevertheless, I do realize I am breaking up or something. I can see on my device. It is what it is. This has been a lunch break live, as they all often. I appreciate the fact that I'm rolling with your boy. 103,000. You guys showed a hell of a lot of love today. We certainly will be talking about this in the future. As of Tuesday next week, Trump will they will be released on the indictment. Want to know what he was charged with? Mookie Stints. Thank you. Appreciate the atrocity. Showed your boy some love. Same to you, Heather. But at the end of the day, we'll find out next week. Certainly, we'll be talking about my guess going to be on with Trump indictment. Because, listen, regardless of how you feel about what they're doing, having a candidate that's swimming in legal issues basically leaves him in a position of compromise. He could be bought out. You got all these damn cases. You are facing potential jail time or this or that. How do we know you're being genuine at that point? I understand a lot of folks believe he will become a martyr and things like that. He certainly will with my beloved MAGA. They're pissed off that they're continuing to go after the president time in and time again. But that's not likely to be the same sentiment with independents, and definitely not with Democrats. So these cases, I don't think they're going to help him. In regards to the comments, looks like Jenny asked, what was the charge? We don't know what the charges are. It's a sealed indictment. We should know, I believe, Tuesday, they're going to release what's in there. So President Trump got it right. He said he was going to be arrested on Tuesday. No, you're going to be actually given a list of what they're charging you with 2 Tuesdays later. So we'll see what happens, but I don't see how anybody can look at that and say it's a good thing. Even if you are a strong supporter of Trump, you're not Tupac. You're not Biggie. You're not going to do well for being charged. If you are truly a fan of the law-abiding party, you don't base your heroes on incarceration. I don't see it. Biden can't even talk. Well, fair enough. Accountability is a good thing, and that's what it looks like Trump may be dealing with. Nevertheless, it is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I got to get back to work. Appreciate you guys rolling with me. It's always an honor. I'll catch you on the next one.